Let's see. There we go. This is the app on the right. This is our code on the left. Let's see. We have 0 expenses right here. Here's the hard-coded chart for the reports, right? It has nothing to do with any dynamic code. This is the ad screen, and there we go. These are the categories. Yeah, exactly. It's really coming along, right? So here's the ad screen. Here is the category screen. This is actually live, right? So we have dynamic data. We are persisting this data, right? We have dummy 1. Let's say we have sports, right? And we're going to pick something green, healthy, sports, right? We go to the ad screen and we can see the sports category right here. If I were to close this app, like close it, right? And open it again and go to the categories, we'll see the dummy 1 and sports. You know what? Just like get rid of the dummy category. That means our categories are persisted, and so are the expenses, right? So if we write, I'm not sure, let's see, if we write, I don't know, $89 for new running shoes, right? And we'll put that on today's date, and we can like do a submit expense. We are missing a little alert here. Maybe we should like show something successful, right? But if we go here, we should see the new running shoes. Now here's a bug. We don't actually see the category right here. That's why I have make sure Realm is integrated correctly in my to-do list. So we're going to make sure. But let's see if we close the app and open it again. No. Okay, this is what we're going to work on at the first. But let me just demo Realm for you guys. At first, I've added the Cocoa Pods. Right, so if we were to do warp, let me just see. There we go. Goodbye money. iOS. If we vim the pod file, we have the Sentry pod right here, and we also added the Realm Swift. So after I added this, I ran pod install, and it installed all of the dependencies and packages that we have defined, and there we go. We have Realm running. Now I tried to follow the official tutorial of Realm, like on the doc site. I got kind of lost, but luckily I found one open source project that uses Realm in SwiftUI correctly, and I started following that to see what the concept is and how they implemented Realm into their SwiftUI, and it's exactly what we want. So there we go. At the root of the project, we are creating a Realm manager, right? And we mark this as an observable object, which means when things change inside of this object, the specific components, or like the specific UI elements that listen to these, to the changes that basically subscribe to this observable object, will re-render. I'm not sure if this is the correct nomenclature in SwiftUI. I'm coming from React. We do re-renders, so I'm gonna explain it like a re-render, right? And obviously we have an issue right here. Something's not correct, but yeah, we'll check it out. Inside we have like a local Realm instance, and then we also mark the expenses and categories as published. I have no idea why this is. We need to learn about it. Luckily, we should, no, we don't. Yeah, we should get some published. Okay, here is the published definition, and this thing is a type that publishes a property marked with an attribute. Publishing a property with the @published attribute creates a publisher of this type. You access the publisher with the $sign operator as shown here. There we go. The temperature. We're setting the temperature, and then we have the $temperature.sync. When the property changes, publishing occurs in the properties will set block, meaning subscribers receive the new value before it's actually set on the property. In the above example, the second time the sync executes its closure, it receives the parameter value 25. However, if the closure evaluated weather.temperature, the value returned would be 20. All right, so let's see. We have a published temperature, which is a double. We are initializing, you know, we have the initializer or the constructor here that sets the local temperature, the self.temperature. Now we have weather, and we are initializing it with the value of 20, right? Then we do weather.temperature.sync, and then we're logging. We're printing something out, right? And then they said the sync, when the sync actually happens, it receives the parameter 25 because, as we can see, weather.temperature equals 25. We are actually changing the temperature right here, and we're not doing it in a special way. We just use the, you know, assignment operator right here. And that means it's going to print 25. There we go. It prints 20 and then it prints 25, right? So this cancelable, right? This .sync actually subscribes to the changes of the temperature. So every time the temperature or this variable's value changes, we're gonna do this. And this is just like printing the temperature, right? So we initialized the temperature, the first sync, and then we also, when we changed it to 25, we changed it to 25, right? So that is the published property, right? So which means if we change the value of the categories, we want the list to re-render, or if we added a new expense, we want the chart to re-render, right? Because the value changed. So that is the published attribute right here. So we are keeping in memory all of the expenses and categories. When we actually initialize this the realm manager, we're going to call the openRealm method, which basically creates a new configuration, and then it tries to create an instance of the realm DB. In case it doesn't, we'll just print an error, but maybe we should also track it with Sentry. We can try that as well. So there is the openRealm, and then we load the expenses and categories. If we were to add some other concept or like some other entity within our app, we should also preload them here, which could potentially put some performance, you know, could potentially damage the performance. But since we have the, I don't know, we have the realm manager, we could create like a public or like an accessible method that actually loads these like expenses and categories whenever they're first needed, right? So lazy loading. But yeah, for now, we'll just like keep it clean. And as we can see here, when we want to load the expenses, first we're going to try to see if the realm instance is created, and then do local realm.objects. Here is the class, the expense.self, and then give me them sorted by the date, right? So sorted by the date. Expense.self. Now let's see the expense class. If you remember previously, we only added like the identifiable, and that was it, right? But now I am importing the realm Swift into the expense model. I've added the object and the object key identifiable because these are required, you know, interfaces. What are we looking at? Protocols. Required protocols. Oh man, sorry. Required protocols in order to, you know, define like a certain class, define it as an entry in the database, right? So we got the object key identifier right here. This is an ID, like an object ID. It's a realm DB thing. It needs to keep a track of all of the entries. So this is unique for every entry. And then we also get the amount, category, date, node, recurrence, everything. But we also add the attribute persisted. This attribute tells realm, please write this in the database. And you might be asking, okay, double, date, string, yeah. What about category? How do we write categories? Like JSON? What is it? It's actually a relation. Because the category itself is marked as a realm object. And there we go. Pretty much the same thing. So when the category changes and and expense happens, an expense gets written to the database, it's just going to link with that category. And that's about it, yeah. Here's how we initialize it, and I also created some helper methods like give me which is the day in the week for this expense. Is it Monday? Is it Wednesday? Give me the day in the month. Is it like the 13th? Is it like the 27th? Which is the month? Which is the year? In a string format. So this will be, I don't know, if it's July, it's going to be JUL, the short name, and also the year. So we got, like, I've marked the category and the expense. So now our categories and expenses are persisted into the database, and we can do this. Local realm.objects, here is the class that we're looking for, and give me everything, sort them by date, and append them to the expenses list array, which is here at the top. So while we are in some sort of a screen, I don't know, and we want to get all of the expenses, we can do realm manager.expenses, we got them all, right? So that's how we can carry the expenses and the categories everywhere, you know, in all the screens that we're interested. Then I also started implementing some helper methods, for example, how to submit an expense, right? And we are basically getting an expense, like a full object expense, not like a DB entry. It's still a class. We can still create instances out of the expense class, right? And then we try to get the instance, try to see if we can write. For any reason, for some reason, maybe we're not able to write to the local database. We gotta be sure that we can write, and then we just do local realm.add expense. There's nothing else that we need to do. We don't need to precisely say this belongs into the expenses table or whatever, you know. It knows that it is expense. It knows how the properties are defined. It's smart enough to save it to the local database. And then we actually preload the expenses again, right? Because this adds that expense to the local realm, which means that it's going to save them in the database, but our array doesn't actually contain the new file. So we want to load the expenses after writing them to the DB, and basically this will happen again, right? We'll clear out the expenses and then get them in again. I'm not sure if this is the most performant way. We can try to measure how much it takes, right? So instead of reloading all of the expenses, we know that this is a write. It's a new expense. Why not just like append it to the list of expenses? Maybe that would also work, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. I bet it has something to do with the add published. Right, so we need to, I don't know, use the assignment operator, and maybe things will change then. But yeah, again, the same thing as submitting a category and also deleting a category. As you can see, we don't have the deletion of expenses, but maybe we can do that right now. So that's basically how we can implement the realm manager. Now let's see how we can use it. We go back to the, where was it? The goodbye money app.swift. This is the starter file. I think we actually demoed, we demoed the environment variables in the last stream. If you're interested, like how to handle environment variables, there are two types, sneak peek. But if you're interested, you can check out my YouTube channel. I've got that upload there. If you want the link, let me know. I'll try to find it and I'll send it over to the chat. And basically, we have nothing actually here that has to do with Realm, so we can also delete the import. Why importing the library? Because we don't actually need it. Let's go to the content view. And as we can see, now we are defining the state object, right? The Realm manager, and we're calling the constructor, as you can see right here. There we go. We are calling the init, which will open realm.db and load the expenses and categories, right? We do that here in the content view, which is the first screen, right? There we go. Inside of the app, the first thing that loads is the content view. Maybe we should rename that, but yeah, we'll just keep it like that. Yeah, we have the realm manager right here, and now we can pass that realm manager to every screen that we have. For example, here are the tabs, right? Expenses, reports, add, settings. We can say .environment object and then pass the realm manager so that we can use it inside. In React, this is called prop drilling. We tend to stay out of it. It's not a good practice. In SwiftUI, I guess this is the norm. So yeah, that's how we can do, like, we can pass the realm manager, and all the screens that we use it's going to be the same instance, right? We're not going to create a new instance of the realm manager. So we're passing the as an environment object right here, and check this out. If we, for example, go to the expenses screen, we receive it as an environment object, right? Realm manager, we just add the type. We don't actually initialize it right here. We can't because we already have one instance, right? And that's the point, having one instance, right? It's like a singleton, but it's not really implemented as a singleton. So we have the environment object right here, and now we can use the realm object to actually start showing some stuff, right? And for example, in this case, we have the expenses list right here, and we are passing the realm manager.expenses object, right? And the expenses were the actual expenses, where we call load expenses. We get all of the expenses sorted by the dates. I bet it's I believe it's the descending sorted. Yeah, so like the newest one will be first and the oldest one will be last. And then we push them again to the expenses, and now we use that to actually feed it into the group expenses by date method, which returns all of the expenses grouped by the expenses, right? By date, sorry. And we actually show them into the expenses list. So let's dig deeper, because this is where the bug is. Here's how we actually get the expenses. Maybe that is the case, because we want to show the expenses in separate sections. We have today right here. Let's also try to create a new category. Oh, what is this? An empty category. We should... It crashed. Let's try that again. There we go. Something along the lines with the category, as you can see. And what is this? The category. So when we added the expense, basically the category was non-existing. If we try to continue, not gonna happen. This bug is the... Which one is it? Here we go. The error unexpectedly found nil while unwrapping an optional value, right? We are expecting the expense to have a category, but it doesn't. And I'm not sure how that happened. We should actually... Right now, we need to delete the app and the data in order to start fresh and debug why the add... Basically, we should have the category right here. Why it doesn't actually link it. So we got no data. Let's create a new category. Sports. There we go. Let's go back to the add screen and add the same thing. New sneakers. And as you can see, it is weird, right? Maybe the add screen is still not aware that we have a new category. Let's check it out. Here's the handle create. When I press the submit expense, we're going to hit this thing. So submit expense, there we go. We should see self.selected category. What is the value of that? Self.selected category, the value, loading. Okay, there's an ID, color, and name. What is the name? What is the color? What is anything? Okay, probably there's probably an error right here, because apparently it can't really find it, or maybe it can, but the submit expense needs debugging. So we're going to go to the expenses modal and actually see modal. Nice, my dude subscribed. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you so freaking much. Where were we now? I got confused. No, not here. Hell yeah, dude. Sorry, Real Manager. Real Manager. Submit expense. There we go. We wanna prime subs. Yeah. We wanna add a breakpoint here. Check. Hey, have you ever worked with like mobile? Or you're truly comfortable in Vue.js? Let me know. We're gonna add a breakpoint here actually, and try to see what the expense is. Try to figure out if we also get an error. But right now, we are in the expenses list. Are we there? No, we're not really. We're in the add screen, exactly. So we're going to submit the expense, and we're basically creating a new instance of the object, right? Here's the amount, here's the selected category, here's the date, and all these things. And I'm gonna place a breakpoint here as well. There we go. We can add the expense. I'm gonna come here as well. No errors. We can continue. Right? If we go to the expenses, we got the sports now. Huh. As you remember, the sports tag was not present before, and that's why our app crashed. So now we can't really reproduce the error. I guess we'll have to leave it for the users to find. Yeah, but we gotta find it though. We need to find it. Let's try something new. Let's try let's try. Many Century is gonna catch it anyways. I'm gonna create a red, and the red color is a dangerous color, so we're going to place the bills with the red color. And now let's see, it's not picking up, you know, there's sports, but the name is not there. I believe we need to do some work there. So bills, how much? Like a lot of them. I don't know, like 190. I'm not sure how much bills are being paid in USA or in anywhere in the world. And we are going to say, I don't know, water, because water is really expensive. We're going to create the bills, but there you go. You can't really see the selection. We gotta fix that. Submit expense. Go back. Now we actually see the tag. We still have that error, but hey. Okay. All right. We'll leave. You know, we'll let Sentry figure it out. If that error happens again, we're gonna see it in Sentry. Right now, I just say leave it as it is. But we need to figure out this bug right here. So let's go back to the add screen. Go back to the add screen and we got the Realm Manager, right? We received it from the content view. And what else? Here's the creation. We do the category, the selected category right here, but which one is it? So for each of the categories, we place them in a picker, but the selected category, there we go. We're just basically like making a new instance of an empty category. Even though we're like selecting it, we can't really know. Oh man. By the way, I love how Xcode, like check this out. Check out the animation. See that? Nice. It literally folds it. It literally folds the code. So good. Like beautiful to look at it. There we go. So we need to find a way. We need to find a way to add the first category right here. If we're starting out with the fresh app, this screen is going to get loaded. The category does not exist, so it's not going to be the first one. When we go to the settings and create a category and go back to the add screen, we need to find a way how to reset the selected category to the first one, right? So give me the first category, whatever it is, but then we can later change it. And it's also crazy how I can change it here, but the name doesn't really reflect that. So we need to figure it out. One thing that I'm like biased to search for is the, you know, the on appear, for example, in SwiftUI. So let's see, SwiftUI on appear, and actually I'm going to drag. How do you drag? This is Firefox, so I want to drag. Okay, something happened. Okay, there we go. Yeah, SwiftUI on appear, right? We are interested to see how we can do the on appear, and we can perform. Ryan, thanks for the follow. How we can do the on appear? Adds an action to perform before this view appears, and I believe we can do this action right here. So I bet, let's try that. I bet we can get the body and place a modifier on it. On appear, not on the body itself, but maybe on the navigation view. On appear, okay, there we go, on appear. And then we can basically perform an action. If action is nil, this call has no effect. What if we were to create, function on appear, and then do self.onAppear. Actually, perform self.onAppear, right? And let's just like put a breakpoint inside and see what happens first, because eventually we want to do the, I don't know, self.selected category equals realm manager categories, and then like the first one. But let's see if we get the realm manager first or we get the on appear. Okay, so realm manager exists because this thing happened first, and now we can go. It never appears. Maybe I'm writing this wrong. Huh. Let's see, SwiftUI on appear, but I want to actually see, because perform action, we actually did that. Oh, it's okay. It's like immediately, not like like this. Self, like on appear. Maybe we can like call it on appear immediately. Let's see now. I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. And this is the ad. Okay, we're in the ad screen. Let's go to the and click on it. There we go. Yeah, I think this is gonna be good. When we go here, we should see the selected category set to sports. Okay, now let's simulate the same thing as before. We want to delete this app, delete every data, and we're starting fresh. Right, so we're starting fresh with the app. Ryan, love the stream. I was looking into learning SwiftUI in my spare time. So awesome, you're streaming this. Yeah, I kind of like SwiftUI. Yeah, it's chill. It's I love the, you know, the concept of using stacks to build your layout. I think it's very easy. I had like zero issues building all of these screens, and I'm coming from the React background, right? So even like in Chakra UI, we used the SwiftUI as an inspiration to develop the stacks in Chakra UI. So I was used to Chakra UI a lot, and then when I switched to SwiftUI, there we go. We have like a perfect match to match. But it's, yeah, I like it. There are some things that you would expect to be in a, you know, built in a certain way, but it's not always the case. So you need to Google your way out of that. But we're developers. That's what we do. Okay, let's check it out. We have it running. Add screen. What's happening right here? It says index out of range. There's another exception, right? We want to get the first category. And which one is the first category? We just deleted everything. We deleted the whole app. There we go. Index out of bounds. So if we were to do realm manager dot categories and then the first, or like, no. Categories dot count. If we actually have anything to set, wow, listen to this song. We want to set it to the first one, right? Otherwise, maybe in that case, create a new instance or not, because this is going to happen anyway. Let's not do that. I'm just gonna print right here and check the value of the selected category, because I think it's going to be the empty, you know, category instance that we have here, because this part of the code happens immediately as the app starts. Exactly. This part of the code happens immediately when the app starts, because the add screen is a tab item. It's a tab screen, so it gets loaded, but it's not appearing, right? It's not immediately appearing on the screen. Only when we press on the tab, we get the onAppear method being called right here, and that's when we can set the selected category to the first one. But the thing is, I couldn't do this for some reason. I don't know. It's a Swift limitation. It's a Swift constraint. For example, we have the realm manager right here, right? And I can't do this. I can't do this. See? This is something else. Like, you cannot use the instance member realm manager within the property initializer. Property initializers run before the self is available. So we need to, right? This is too early to use the realm manager. We need to somehow postpone this, right? Like, wait it out up to a certain point where self is actually available, and then use the, you know, use self and then use the realm manager in our case to actually initialize the selected category. That's what I'm trying to do right now, and that's why I've always, like, I just left category as an empty right here, just so it doesn't actually, you know, crash and burn. But we're printing here because I'm expecting this to be the same, right? We still have the empty dummy instance right here. If there are no categories, then I don't know, let's not show anything. Maybe we can, like, even no category, like, I don't know, what if we can, like, net the name? No, create a category first. What if we actually did that? Let's see. No, you also need a color. Sweet Jesus. Color.clear. There we go. There's a color. It's a transparent color. Add. There we go. We are printing right? Because we don't have any categories. But if we check the selected category in the value, can we actually do that right now? It's a persisted, so I'm not sure how to unwrap this. Oh, there we go. Create a category first. We should see a create a category first. We don't, because I'm not sure why. There's something like a little circle. Doesn't matter. We need to create a category first, and it's not really showing up. That's a problem. But let's put a breakpoint here. Go create a category. Let's go with blue, and we'll add, I don't know, groceries. Now let's go back and go to the add screen, the on appear will happen again. Beautiful. Now the count actually should be greater than 0, so we should enter. Beautiful. And now set that first category. It's set, but we still get this name right here. What is going on? Okay, so we can get rid of this block right here. Let's open up the navigation view. Where is date node category category.name, and then we're tagging that as the actual thing, but it's like there's the picker label, there's no label, the label is a different thing, but inside we're adding a text with the category name, right? So for example, if we were to do something like this and try running it again, let's see what happens. Okay, we've hit the breakpoint, we are here, and we have the category right here, and the category's name is, we should have the name right now because we restarted the app, right? I don't actually see it here. No, actually, there we go. We have the groceries, right? So it's here, but it's here like afterwards, and I don't like that. Like, I want to be able to start the app, create a category. There we go. Now we have it. But what about before? That's what I'm interested in. So I'm gonna erase all the data. And you can see we have the groceries because it's being put here in the selected category. Not cool. How do iOS folks solve this? Apparently this doesn't work. If I kill the app and start it again, right? Here's the category. We should have seen. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we should like put a breakpoint here. Where? I'm not sure. Okay. Hit a breakpoint. Now the selected category. Let's see what the selected category is. Value. Name. Create a category first. Right, so we have the name. As you can see, the color should be like a clear color. It's a persistible color. There we go. Red, green, and blue. What's the values? 0, 0, 0, and opacity should be 0 as well, because it's a clear color. Yeah. There we go. It's like it's a black color, but it's actually opacity 0, so it's clear. But yeah, this should not have an index because we're not actually setting it. But it has a name. It has a name. Oh, wait a minute. I know what it is. Yeah, the selection should also be inside. So there we go. If we have categories like count is greater than 0, if we have, then like do this, right? Else we should put a text, and this is going to be the dummy category, right? Selected category dot name, and then tag that with a selected category, like so. Because we are, what is that? Tag requires a binding of okay. Tag the category, yeah, I guess just selected category. What are we? What about now? There we go. Yeah, basically we say like we tell the picker this is the selection, right? but the selection is not found inside of the options, so it fails to render it. We should see create a category first. There we go. Nice. What about going and creating a category now? I don't know, teal color. We'll call this, I don't know, scuba gear. Because we spend a lot of money on scuba gear. If we go to the ads, what? We got it. I believe this was actually the fix. We get the scuba gear. It's initialized, right, with the scuba gear an actual category. And it's also set as the first one. So let's try. We've wasted $512 on a breathing thing. Right, let's submit that expense, go to the expenses. There we go, we solved it, guys. It was actually the picker. Yeah, the picker did not know its initial value. And then when we actually say, okay, now you have a real category, it failed to render it because it was in a broken state. That's how I can explain this, right? We're telling it, yeah, here's the category, here's the selection, but then there is no option, and then the binding breaks somehow. And when we actually provide an option inside of the categories, even if we change the name of the selected category, I believe it still fails. It still fails to pick it up because, I don't know, the binding broke. Because we broke it previously. I don't know. I need to find an answer for this. But yeah, now we got it working. Okay, scuba gear. We can try another one. Let's add purple one. What should we call this purple one? Or I don't know. Let's also add the red one again, and red one. This will be cigarettes. Let's see how much we spend on cigarette smoking. Okay. A ton of money. Smoke for the whole month. Let's say, and you know what? We're going to make that a monthly. And we're gonna make that yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Create it. And let's go see. Okay. Smoke for the whole month. $1.99. Cigarettes yesterday, monthly. Sweet. Okay, we got this working. So I believe, yeah, we have actually integrated Realm the correct way. We can proceed working on the reports screen. Nice, but I forgot to bring water, so give me a minute to go get some water. And we can continue. How about that? Okay, let's actually proceed. Here we go. Smoke for the whole month, and the breathing thing. That's what we spent our money on. Now, when we go to the reports screen, we actually see all of the Yeah, we actually see the expenses because this is the same list basically, right? There used to be like 3 squares with all of the currencies, but I actually decided to kill that because we not gonna do currencies. Why? Because for example in the reports, right, we have the data, we have the date, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? We have the amounts, so that's already 2-dimensional, and then we had the expenses, so we have like a 3-dimensional data to take care about, right? What does that mean? In Monday I've spent, I don't know, 3,000 Macedonian dinars and like 500 US dollars and 10 Canadian dollars, etc., and like 5 euros. I think that would be too much to show here. So for the MVP, I just decided, you know what, let's stick with USDs for now. But we'll try to implement something in the future if we go back to this app, which I think we will, because I'm going to be using this. So today's menu, we have the report screen. I've already implemented a little picker at the top, right? So we can pick 5,000 dinars, $500 where? Everywhere, man, on smoke for the whole month and the breathing thing, so we can breathe under water. But yeah, we need to feed some data to this report now. This report contains some dummy data. Now let's close all of this and actually go and see what we've done there. Here's the report screen. What do we have? We have a vertical stack. We have a period chart that is also connected with the selected period, and the period is basically this up top. So, right, we have the month, we have the year, and then we have the week. Initially it's a week. We can change it later on, right? As you can see, we also get the environment object right here because this is our screen, right? And we can pass that to anywhere we want to be using it, right? But we initially get all of the expenses, and now this is the thing. We should be taking into account taking into the account the period, right? So if it's a week, that means we need to filter out the expenses that are not in the current week. If we swipe left or like swipe right here, we want to see the previous week. So from the last week's Monday until the last Sunday, we want to see those expenses. Same for the month. If we pick month, we should see this month's expenses. If we swipe right, we should see the previous month's expenses, right? So we need a filtering mechanism. We got to find a way to filter out the expenses in a programming language that we know nothing about. So that will be fun. But let's try it out. We have the realm manager right here. We have the week. We should also keep, and we're not gonna be like needing in last week, right? Or last month. We're gonna be using numbers. 0 is now. -1 is yesterday, last week, last month, last year, whatever it is. But that would be the previous one, right? -2, -3, etc. And then we're going to get the periods and figure it out. If it's -1 week, that means last week. If it's like -5 month, that means 5 months ago, right? And then we can figure it out. But yeah, let's actually do another state variable, which will be period, I don't know, index or coefficient. We'll keep it at 0 because it's now, right? It's currently, it's now. Then we also want to add a new function. Let's see this filter data, something like that. We're not going to be taking anything, or should we be taking a, let's see. But basically when the period changes, we want the filter data to happen, right? And here's our toolbar. Here is our picker. Here is our selection right here. We have the week, month, and year. Oh, how do we basically like hook up to this? Like, let's see. SwiftUI. Subscribe to state variable change. Let's see. Yes, not the actual element. Binding on change, name, and on change, name change. Oh, why do I need an extend? This should come like by default out from the language itself, or like the framework itself. This is a language thing. It has nothing to do with SwiftUI. It's just Swift, right? But why? Why do I need to like build an extension? I believe this is a very common, you know, a very common pattern. Driving changes. Maybe we're just stupid. Maybe like I have no clue how to do that, and there's a good way. What is this? Driving changes in your UI when with state. Okay. Recipe, favorites. Now we have a binding. We can bind that to the toolbar item, but we also wanna programmatically change. I think like, I'm not sure what was the binding versus state. Maybe we should look at that, but we wanna drive some, we wanna basically execute some code when the state variable changes, but not actually update a view. Do something else. We wanna do something else. Not really, no, that's not what we want. Perform actions on value change. Yeah, just like an action, just like I want to do an on change, or like period.subscribe and then do something about it. Okay. Progress view. And then we have an on change. Come on. Yeah. Maybe we actually want to do that. Like I don't want to do that, but maybe we do have to do that. Here's the toolbar, right? Here's the picker. What they suggest is basically do the on change, right? The on change of review in this case, because the binding is review. On change of review equals something else. And what if we actually not put it there? Like what if we add it here? On change of period, right? We're not gonna do like the perform thing. We're just gonna do this, and then we can do reload data, and then print. And now let's see, when we change the period, cannot find reload data in scope. Filter data, what am I? Yes, filter data cannot cannot convert value of type period to expected argument type something. Maybe it has to be here. Now what if we move it here? Still the same thing. On change of is equatable, and period is actually period is actually an enum, but it's, let's see, equatable. a type that can't be compared. Okay, what do we need to do? Override the equals operator. Well, it should be, you know, if period.week equals period.month. Okay, let's see now. It's still, man, this is, yeah, definitely doesn't need to be equatable, or at least that thing. On change of something else, and then we do something else. I don't believe this is like the thing. Just no. God. All right, so this is like a way, or at least as I understood it, it's actually a way to get the parameter, right? So when it changes, gets the thing that it changes. But I was not interested in this case, and I didn't wrote that. I was like, yeah, this is the action, right? When the period changes, do this. But no, you actually need to, oh my god. Okay, we got the filter data, and now let's see if it laughs at us when we change to here. Sweet. Okay. Whew. Okay, so yeah, I don't like it that I need to, like, you know, register this event on a view, which is the v stack right here. But hey, if this is what we need, or like we have to do, then this is what we're going to do, right? We can also add it to the navigation view. What about making it one level below? No. Declaration, yeah. Wait, this is the navigation view, and we gotta add it to the navigation view, basically to the first child. It doesn't matter, but still, you know. So when the period changes, we are going to execute this. What about if something else changes? What if something else changes? Right now we only have one thing, but yeah, there we go. Okay, it works for now. We gotta be aware it might get triggered for some reason. Maybe, I don't know. As you can see, I'm like struggling with the, you know, with Swift as a language. It might get triggered on something else, because this tells me like onChange is actually a modifier that is appended to the navigation view, right? So when the navigation view happens, like changes, but of period, now this thing off, I have no clue. Let's see. On change, adds a modifier to this view. See? So we're adding a modifier to a specific view that fires an action when a specific value changes. And why? You can use onChange to trigger a side effect as a result of a value changing, such as an environment key or a binding. OnChange is called on the main thread. Avoid performing long-running tasks on the main thread. If you need to perform a long-running task in response to the value, you should dispatch to a background queue. This is actually a good advice, because we might have hundreds of expenses, right? It might be a good idea to put it in the background queue. We should learn how to do that first. The new value is passed into the closure. The previous value may be captured by the closure to compare it to the new value. For example, in the following code, the player view passes both the old and the new values to the model, right? The previous and the new one. There we go. Play state, new state. And then we go, did change from the play state, which is the old one, to the new state, which is, here we go, a new one. But man, this is so weird. There's no comma between these two, like no parentheses, or I don't know. Yeah, that's the language. I can't complain about it. It's a famous language. But okay, yeah. This is important. If we want to perform a long running task, we should dispatch it to the background queue. But when we, actually not, we do want to return the result, right? So filter everything on the background queue, but then actually trigger a change, like a re-render change when we finish the filter. Okay, let's work with the main thread for now. I know some of you might attack me for this, but let's just try to work on the main thread, and then we can try to like put it in the back, you know, in the background thread, and then see if we can make it work. Okay, we got the filter data. In here, we know what is the period. We know, of course, the expenses, and we also have the index, right? Which will go left and right. So in here, let's see. Yeah, let's start actually building it out. We want to figure out the range, right? So we want to have a date range from when until when, right? And now we're playing with dates. If the period index is like 0, we want to return the current thing, current week or current month or current year. But how do we return the previous 3, the week 3 weeks ago? Swift date range. Yeah, how to check whether the date is within a range? No. Oh, wait a minute. Like Swift get, I don't know, last month range. Find first and last day of the current month. Drop in extensions. Start of the month, current date from calendar, year, month. Okay, start of the day for self. End of the month is the current month. Yeah, so we're adding a month. Yeah, we're adding a month and we're subtracting a day. So that's the last. Yeah, actually we can actually do this. Yeah. From calendar current date components, this is like the start of the thing. Year, month, we can also add a week here. Yeah, and then calendar current start of the day for self. I think I know. Let's see. We know that these can be like only 3 values, right? And we have the period index as well. So we are going to try to create. Can we actually do like a week? Let's see. 8 components. Calendar day. We can do the day, hour, minute, month, second, year, but not like a week. Okay. Maybe we should also maybe we should try using a library for this. Like we have in JavaScript, like libraries that can help us achieve this. Start of the day, start of the month, end of the day, end of the month is Monday. No. Okay, date interval of month for date. Oh, you can then use start and end to get the dates if it's iOS 10 and above. What are you talking about? We have iOS 16 now. Yeah, everyone should be on iOS 10 plus. Okay, so let's actually check this out. We have the calendar, which is probably the same calendar current, and then we can do date interval. Nice. Date interval of week. No. Okay, if we do like a month, or we can create a new date right here. Check this out. For calendar current date, right? By adding a month to, and we can refer to the first answer that we have here. By adding, oh, okay, date components. Yeah. By adding date components, month, where were we? Month is going to equal the period index, right? To the current date. Oh, there's like a start of month now. There is start of day. Calendar current start of day for I don't know, this date. What do we get here? Yeah. It could be. Let's actually see where we go. Yeah, it's at the end. So this date could be like undefined. By adding, yeah, it could be nil, basically, not undefined. But let's see. Nope. Okay. What about now? Nope. Man, this song is too much. Okay. We can't figure out. God damn it. We can't figure out how to create. See? Of 4. There we go. Just give me the documentation. Thank you. Returns the starting time and the duration of a given calendar component that contains a given date. Starting time and the duration, right? So the component is a calendar component. The date is the specified date. And then it returns the date interval if the starting time and duration of a component could be calculated, otherwise nil. Okay, so we wanted to give it a date, right? So like give me the start of this date, and it could be like a start of the month or start of the year. But then this date should be within that month or week or year, right? I believe we don't have a week of year. It's a calendar component, week of month. Identifier for the week of the month calendar. Okay, I don't know. Let's, for example, we can get it for the week of the month, but we need to figure out a way to get the current date right now, because that's what we have now. And if we're looking for the last week, we need to find a way to subtract -1 week from the current date, and then use the date interval to obtain the start and the duration, right, for the week. Let's play around with this. let's just create a new date. And let's see what the interval is. This should run. Yeah, this should run. Now let's go to the report screen and change this to year. It's still gonna be like a week interval, but let's see. The start one is the 24th of September. And the duration is like it's a timestamp. Okay. 24th. Right? What was like was that Monday? Let's see. 24th, that is last Saturday. It's actually last Saturday. What are we gonna do with last Saturday? At 10 UTC. Maybe Sunday is the first day. So we're like 10 p.m. and I am right now in a GMT +2, like UTC +2 time zone. If you add those two to the 10 p.m. right here, we'll have midnight, but it's gonna be the 25th, and 25th is actually Sunday, and maybe Sunday is the first week, like the first day of the week. That's a thing, you can configure that. And maybe that's what's trying to tell us, but then this date, we gotta like time interval since now, since 1970. How can I like get a date? Distant past, distant future. Creates and returns a date value representing a date in the distant past. In terms of centuries. Now. We have the now. That's it. Oh. So we're creating this date, right? But it's in my current time zone. I don't want to like do that, because if right now we saw that the interval lands on Saturday. First, I want Monday to be the first date. Second, I want to ignore, you know, the +2, because that's like a lot of math. Why would we want to do that? Like, do UTC, right? And if the first day is Sunday, then give me midnight at Sunday. But we also want to change it to, okay, we also want to change that to Monday. Let's see. Let's see. Swift date, right? Set time zone and first day of week. How do we do that? Beginning of the date with NS date. No. Here's the calendar. Start of week. No. There's a calendar. You can change the time zone. Okay, I don't know, let's check it out. So we'll do the calendar dot current, right? Dot time. Gotta go for now. Have a good stream. Thank you, Sibra, and thank you for stopping by. And thanks for the subscription, dude. Alright, time zone. Let's change the time zone. Identifier. This is gonna be UTC, because I'm in UTC +2. If we run... Oh. Cannot assign to property calendar. It's a let constant. I'm not changing the value, I'm changing... Value of optional time zone must be unwrapped to a value of... Cheers, man. Yeah. Yeah, this person uses a force unwrap, which I'm trying to zoom in. I can't. You see this exclamation mark right here? That means a force unwrap. Right, and that is basically fixing this issue, but I believe this is going to work. Like UTC should be able, like this should be able to be, you know, forced unwrap, because UTC is a known time zone, so we should not have any issues with this. Now, if we use this calendar, instead of calendar.current, we're gonna say calendar.date interval. Run this again. We should actually not see the 10 p.m. We should actually see midnight, right? It's not gonna be perfect. It's still gonna be probably Saturday, like it's gonna be Sunday. But let's see. What is the interval? There we go, guys. Now we have the 25th at midnight. 25th, that's still a problem because we want to change. Yeah, 25th is Sunday. We don't want to do that. 25th is Sunday. We want to land on Monday. Right? That's the first day of the week. And let's actually play with this. Let's see. Calendar first weekday for the calendar would be 1. I don't know. Let's see. Basically, we should get 26th. That is Monday. 26th is Monday. No. We're still at 25th. Okay, then maybe on the other way around. Let's try 6th, the first weekday. $23rd. No way. Then I guess too. Oh man, this is like shooting in the dark. We're just throwing values. See, yeah, there we go. 26th of September at midnight. Let's just confirm that should be 26th is Monday. Whew, okay, we kind of got it, right? We have the time zone, we have the first day of the week, and now we have this thing. Date interval and date. Wait a minute. Off was actually. It's a component. Okay. And now this is the date that we want to modify, right? The date in this case is like current date. If we're looking for week and like set the period index to -1, that means we're looking for last week. So we should subtract 1 week from today, or like add -1 week to today, right? How do we do that? Like, I don't know, target date, I don't know, equals date. No, from interval time, no, I guess calendar date by adding something to, right? By adding date components to now. And then we can use this target date instead of a new date right here. What are you complaining about? Yeah, because target date could be, yeah, I need to force unwrap this. We're always going to go in the past, so, well, how does it matter? Like, why would that matter? But still, we'll see. By adding date components, right? Now the date components is something that we want to also control. Wow. Something that we also want to control, because in here we can say calendar, time zone, era, year, month, day, hour, minute, second, nanosecond, weekday, original, quarter, week of the month, week of the year, weekday, week of the month, week of month. Plus these should be like, these should also be. No, wait. Check this out. So we're gonna switch on the period index. First, we're going to create the components equals, no, it's going to be a date component type. We are going to switch on the index where we have the period.week, right? Was this how switches worked in SwiftUI? Let's check. Swift switch. Oh man. Yeah. What is it? Colon. Okay. Colon. Yeah. So if it's a week, then the component is going to be the date components, right? Weekday, ordinal, quarter, week of month. I don't know. Let's say week of month, right? And how much are we adding? We're adding the period index, right? 0 or -1. -1 means last week in this case, right? A week is not a member. Oh, wait a minute. Period index. No. We're actually switching on the period. Yeah. Switching on the period, but actually using the period index. Switch must be exhausting. Yeah, we do have missing cases. Period dot month, right? If we're talking about something month, not last, but something, that would be adding a month. Yeah. And then we have the year. Here we go. Here's the year. That's about it. And by default, I don't know, just components equals, yeah, do nothing but don't be nil, please. So we got the components right here. The default will never be executed, of course. We have the component here, the components, we can put them here, right? And then we're gonna try to get the target date last week or last month, whatever it is, right? From today, and then get the interval. So let's actually try this. We are going to try to get this week right now because the period is set to week, although let's see actually. Let's actually pick this month, right? We are switching on the period. It's not a week, it's a month. So components should have the month thingy. Yeah, let's just trust it. And the target dates should add these components, right? And the period index is like 0, right? Let's see, self period index, the value is 0, so it should add nothing. That means right now. And this target date should be the 1st of September this year. Oh man, it's like, it's actually now, right? Yeah, 29th of September. This says 6:47, but actually it's like 8:47 in my place. No, wait a minute. Okay, we got it. This is the target date, right? But if we get the interval now, the interval starts should be 26. Oh, we got the week of the month here. Okay, we gotta change that as well. See, date interval, and now this off thingy should be a calendar component, right? Okay, then we gotta do that as well. So components, and this will be the interval component. Calendar.component, that is the type. Interval component is the week, right? week of month, we use that thing. Okay. Interval component, if we're talking about a month, is the month, and then the interval component will be a year in case of a year, and instead of hard coding it, we'll do interval component. All right, how about now? Let's actually see if we can get 1st of September. Do you remember? Let's see. Month. We have the period index set to 0. Interval is month. Give me the start of this month, right? Right. There we go. Okay. 1st of September 2022. Beautiful. Whew. Let's try setting the period index to -1. This and set it, you know, like use the month. This should give us 1st of August. Please give us the 1st of August. Yes. We still need to figure out how to like do the duration. Like give me the end, right? But we have a way of navigating now. Sweet. Okay. Now the start date should be the interval dot start, and the end date should be the interval dot start dot no actually calendar dot by adding no. Oh, this is nice. Interval dot start, adding time interval. No, because we have the duration. Okay, it's a time. Oh, we have. There we go. We also have the end, not just the start and the. Okay, cool. We have the start and the end. Now we have the range, right? And now we can actually filter out all of the expenses within this range. Whew. Oh man, I so not trusted myself to actually go this far, but this is awesome. This is nice. Like having in mind that I have 0 experience in Swift, we are progressing pretty nicely. I gotta say that. Okay. We have the start, we have the end, we have the Realm Manager as well. Now we wanna do some stuff, right? First of all, I'm gonna register a new state variables, which will be the expenses, and that's going to be an array of expense. Expense, yeah. And these initially is gonna be like an empty array. We do wanna do the filter data initially and populate the expenses array, right? Then we have a period chart. That was the chart that we saw. We also wanna add the expenses, so let's go and get them. Right? We have the expenses. This is accepted. Nice. And now as we change these, since it's a state variable, it's going to trigger a re-render of the period chart, so it will change. We also want to add the period, right? So when we actually render the period chart, as you can see, we have a week chart, and we also need to pass down the expenses to those charts, but then we also want to conditionally render week, month, or a year chart, right? Because a week chart has 7 columns, right, for each weekday. A month chart has, depending how many days of that month is. Whew, that would be fun. And then a year chart, like a full year chart, that actually has I guess 12. We're going to display the expenses for each month in that case. Okay, so this is the week chart, right? Can we do a switch inside? Switch on the period, right? If the case is period.week, we want to render a week chart and we want to pass the weekly expenses. But now let's also not be doing this. Oh man, yeah, we gotta refactor this. This should be a list of expenses, but we already have them. So I'm gonna do expense empty by default, but okay. Wait a minute now. Check out the previous. We had a day and we also had an amount, right? So I was expecting these to basically arrive pre-formatted. So we need to figure it out. Up until this point, we have raw data. We just have an array of expenses. There we go. We have an array of expenses. And how do we do that? Maybe. No, we still need, yeah. This should be the expenses input. But let's try. Let's just try like not a state variable. Let's do a display expenses, right? This is going to be a string and a double, right? And we can create a new object. We have 4 minutes left. This is interesting. Maybe we'll like continue. And we'll do this now. So every time we're using the expenses, we're not going to be using the expenses in this case, but we are going to use the newly created, what is it? Oh, we're going to be using the display expenses, right? We are going to put some data in the display expenses and then actually to empty. Okay, there we go. Yeah. And there's an average as well, so we also want to use this thing right here. Oh, no. These expenses not count. What? It's always 7 in this case. Like we have 7 days. 7 days. Now I want to have croissants. Okay. Let's just say, yeah, let's keep this. We'll calculate the average later on. We have an empty dictionary right here, and we have a whole bunch of expenses, right? They come what is this now? No, it's all right. Yeah, now the switch must be exhaustive, I know, but we have to create the rest of the charts. But in this case, we are getting, yeah, we're getting all of the expenses unfiltered. Should we be doing that? Yeah, actually we will be doing that. Yeah, we'll be doing that here. Let's actually fix that, and then we'll go a few levels deeper and fix the UI. But let's just figure out the filtering here. We want to do, I don't know, realm manager dot expenses, and then I don't know, for each, this is bloody terrible, but hey, for each expense, is this the right way to do it? XP, yeah, there we go. If the, now, yeah, that's where we actually need to figure out if a certain date belongs to a certain interval, right? Let's check that out. So Swift date, check if in interval, because we have an interval. Yeah, falls between, contains date. Yeah, this is the safest. In between. There's an extension for the in date called in between. There's a min, max, contains. Swift3. Now this NS8 is bridged to the value type date, and the date conforms to the comparable. We can just conform to a closed range and use the date contains. Okay, maybe that's about it. Yeah, if the expense dot, oh no, it's actually the range at first, and we want to do the start date and the end date, but this is a closed range. Yeah, oh man, now we are going to have a problem. Let's see if the interval is nil. Man, we want to throw a party. Cannot calculate interval, right? Oh, Kami, thank you for the follow. Any error because there's no accessibility. How do you throw errors? Swift throw error. Not error handling, error inducing. How do we how do we actually throw manually? Throw something. But that's a custom error. I just wanna do throw a basic error. Like throw an error. Notification. People, NS error, is that it? No. A localized error. No. How do we throw an error? No, we actually don't. We don't care about creating custom exceptions right now. We care. Yeah. Oh, come on. All right, let's see. Throw error dot. What cell? No. How do I? Oh, it's just a string. Yeah. Let's actually do that. See, I wouldn't have guessed it. I don't know if like throwing a string. Is that it? No, let's. It's not handled because the enclosing function is not declared throws. Of course, yeah. Because we need to actually put all of this into a try catch, but we don't want to catch it. Catch that error as NS error. Look, I want this app to, well, you know what? If I wanted the app to crash, we'll just do this instead. So now we don't need to do the question marks, and now the start and date are not nullish. So now we have the range, and there we go. We calculate the range. It's a closed range, which means that both of the, both of the values are basically included. The end date as well. So yeah, let's see if the if range contains expense date, we want to push this to the expenses. Dot push, no, append expense, right? So this is how we filter out the dates, or basically the expenses within the specific range that we calculate from the period and the period index. We're gonna do 0 right now. Okay, now we have the expenses. We also push the expenses to the period chart. We got the expenses right here. You know what? I'm just going to do the week chart right here. There you go. You have the expenses right here. Yes, and now we also want to, we also want to do the on change right now. right? On change of expenses. How was the on change that we underscore in? Yeah, underscore in. So when the expenses change, right? Basically, when we get the value, we want to do the function. How do we call this? What? We're basically like, and this is the week view. Okay. Distribute expenses. That makes no sense. I know. I'm sorry, but like we have a bunch of expenses, and now we need to distribute them. Oh, actually, no. Wait a minute. We are calculating the total for each day. Okay, yeah. Now we can have a better naming. Calculate totals. Let's do that. Calculate totals. Right, and we are going to do expenses dot for each expense. We are going to do, first we're going to do an if, right? If the display expenses, and then try to get that day. Limited, attempting to restore. Okay, restore it. If expense dot day in week, which is the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday thingy. If this is nil, right? Because right now we have an empty dictionary. That means there is no key Monday. We want to initialize this to 0. And then what we want to do is do this, right? Plus the expense dot amount. So the first iteration will be 0 plus 15. What is this? Self is immutable. Mark method mutating to make self mutable. Oh, see that? You see that? Mutating function. This is new for me. What is this now? Double must be unwrapped to a value of type double. Which one is that? Ah, okay, it's this one, right? So let's do previous value equals. We'll just get the previous value or 0. And then we'll use the previous value. We know that it's a double, and also the amount is a double. Lush Vino, thank you for the follow. Is that right? Lush, or is Yush? Right, so now we basically ensure that we have the display expenses correct for Monday, let's say. At first they're not going to be existing. Then we actually create the key Monday. We assign 0 to it. We try to get the previous value, and then we add the current expenses amount to it. Okay, and do we have any issues? Do we have any errors? I can see we have an error somewhere here. But that was before. Ah, there we go. Cannot use mutating member of immutable value. So we didn't actually solve this. Self is immutable. Nice. We gotta figure out how to actually achieve this. But when we do, we can actually see all of the expenses right here. What if I did the state variable instead? What's gonna happen? Nothing. All right, let's spin it. Let's see what we get. Now it's Thursday. We should see data for Thursday and Wednesday, but the rest of the days should be, yeah, check this out. I am force unwrapping it. So Monday, no, should not happen. So instead of force unwrapping it, because that's going to crash the app, we should result to a 0 because we don't have a value for that day, right? So the display expenses will only have values for the days that an expense has been registered, right? And if you remember, we have two expenses. There we go. We have one from today, which is Thursday, and one for yesterday, which is Wednesday. But there's no expenses for Monday, for Tuesday, for Saturday, for Sunday, and for Friday. So if we try to say display expenses Sunday and then put an exclamation point, we're gonna get a crash because it will return nil, and we're going to slap that nil with a exclamation mark, and it's going to cry. So let's actually gracefully resolve to 0 because it actually is 0. No expenses happened on that day, therefore the amount is 0. Boom, how about that? Let's see what's up. Division by 0. Sweet. What is division by 0? There is another I believe the display expenses will be 0. Value is 0. Yeah, we gotta do that. So if the display expenses count is 0, then we want to return 0 because the average is 0, right? Otherwise, we can actually try to calculate it. Let's see, what is the next crash going to be? No, actually it's we got nothing. That's not cool. That is not cool. Wait. Week chart. This is a week chart, right? Yeah. Where are we now? Calculate totals. Yeah, but that doesn't actually change it. See, if we change the... Yeah, if we change the week here, it actually changes the week chart, like, period, right? But we always render the week chart. But yeah, it triggers a re-render, basically, yes. But let's see. This happens, right? So it gets inside. Then we go here, expenses. What are the expenses? We have two values, correct? Today and yesterday. Now let's see, self display values. This should, yeah, we have 0 key value pairs. What is the current expense? And give me the day in the week. Oh, this is null. Because now this, okay. It's a calculated... Come on, it should exist. Let's actually see it. Let's see what's going to happen with the display expenses. Nothing. Yeah, nothing is going to happen. Let's try to... Day in week. Let's try to print it out and actually see what we get if we print out the day in the week. Wait, what was that? See, now it needs to change. Now this is terrible. Wednesday, right? So this actually works. But maybe the initialization doesn't actually happen. Because if we go self, display expenses, value, the value says 0. Oh man. Okay. I guess I need to use... I guess I need to use a assignment in order to change that. How about that? Right? And every time we're basically setting up the data. Closure, what are you talking about? Yeah, I need to like initialize it. There we go. And then at the end do display expenses equals data. Maybe that's like the maybe that's the thing. Maybe we need to actually assign the state and then it changes, you know, while because it's a state variable. But now we have like an ordinary variable. Maybe it's not gonna change. So let's see. We have data. We have 0 pairs. Come on. No. I'm not sure if anything happened inside or it just didn't wait for it. See, it goes here. That means this is an asynchronous. So we need to wait for that. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Do we actually have expenses to work with? Let's see. Of course, we don't have any expenses. God damn it. Let's not like rush into this. We're gonna pick the week now. And we have the 2 values. Although, I think we should have seen them in the month. Right? We gotta check that. Okay. Data now. There we go. Wednesday is 0. Right now we're gonna do Wednesday equals 199. Beautiful. Right? Then we have another value, which is Thursday. Thursday is now 0. And Thursday is now 512. Exactly. And then we get out of it. Display expenses. We set them up. Okay. Huh? See that? Sweet. But let's actually try, instead of like doing this, you know, there is no data. We're just gonna use the display expenses and see if we can like have it drawn. So at first we're gonna do the month and then go back to the week. Yeah, there we go. And maybe even the average is being calculated correctly. But as you can see, we have like today, which is today, we have 512 about here. Then we have almost 200 yesterday. Yo, this is it, right? This is what we're looking for. The chart is here. We just have a problem. When we go about... What? No, we actually... Wait a minute. I gotta see that. We'll go back to the week, but check out the values. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Month. No. Oh, goddamn. Check out the expenses. We have like 7 of them. That should not actually happen. Display expenses. Thursday, 3,072. 3,072, but we only have 512. 3,072 divided by 512, that's like 6. So something bad happened. Somewhere along the line we need to actually, yeah, when the period changes, yeah. See that? this is the filter data, and filter data actually changes when the period changes, right? So we gotta get the expenses and clear it out. Yeah, clear out the expenses and then we can talk about it. This is dumb. We gotta find a way to do this. Month, year, week. What the hell? Yeah, move on. What about the expenses now? Self expenses, 2 values. Okay, we got 2 values. Maybe it's the filter. Where was the filter? No, actually we got the expenses. Right? No, this doesn't change. So it just said, you know what, I'm not gonna work. Not cool. This is a denial of service. Denial of calculation. Denial of computing. Year. Okay, calculate it, please. How much expenses? We have 0. We should actually have expenses. That's a problem here. Also, wait a minute. Let's go, instead of just like on change, we also want to do an on appear, right? On appear, do the calculation as well. So this worked. We're gonna chill here, but we also want to see why the year thing didn't work. Okay, expenses are 0. What? What about this right here? Didn't we want to filter some? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Exactly. Same thing. Okay, and now we'll have the... There we go. So we are calculating the expenses right here. Now we have 2 expenses. Beautiful. Let's move on. I don't actually like move on. God damn it. We have 2 expenses, right? Nice, because we have a week set. But now let's set a month. Right? Clear out the expenses. Realm manager. Expenses. Where are the values? Current values, 2 values. Okay, we got the expenses, right? Let's move on. And yeah, you know what? This doesn't change. This didn't change because the week chart doesn't actually change. It has no dependency on the periods. Okay, listen. Let's try to implement the swipe thingy. I think it's pretty straightforward, right? We have the period chart right here and the expenses breakdown. Then we also have the expenses list, but I want to put these 2 into that swiping thing. And that was actually a pager, or no, wait a minute, it was like a tab. Like a tab view, but you can do tab style, picker style, was it? Inline menu, segmented wheel. No, it was not a picker style actually. Table style, tab view style, page, right? That implements a page scrolling tab view. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go implement a tab view here. Actually, one level up. There we go. And these will be our tabs. Oh man, it's actually an possibly infinite tab, where this is only going to be the last or the rightmost table item. How do we do that? How do we actually do that? SwiftUI, tab view, infinite. Bidirectional infinite page view in SwiftUI. The task itself can be solved using a SwiftUI pager framework. Of course, we can use a framework. There's the pager, and probably the pager comes from the SwiftUI pager, and there you go. No. Like, there has to be infinite carousel. Yeah, basically we want to see an infinite carousel. Tabs, current index, fake index, offset. Oh man. On appear, on change. No way. Infinite carousel. No. I don't want this either. So probably we are going to result for each of the emojis. Come on. Well, you know what? We are basically going to... Yeah, we're basically going to be swiping the... Wait a minute, this kind of gave me the idea. We're basically going to be swiping the period index, right? So right now we're at the 0, but when we go right, we'll be at -1, where the biggest number is going to be 0, right? And that's going to be the thing on the right, right? So we can do like 0 and have like a, I don't know, if we're talking about weeks. Yeah. If we're talking about, yeah, we can define the limit. If we're talking about the, weeks, that would be, I don't know how much time, like weeks in a month. Oh, sorry, in a year. 52 or 53, right? So we can do that. We can do 53 weeks if the period is set to weeks. If we're talking about months, it will be 12. If we're talking about year, we're not gonna have like a, yeah, we can only see in the past year. That's the idea. We can only see things in the past year. Okay, that would totally work. We just need to define, you know, here's the tab view. We want to get the period chart and expenses breakdown. Yeah, so we want to do like a for each. We want to do a ternary here. If the, oh wait a minute, if the period is like a week, or if the period is like a month, we're gonna do something else. We know that it's a year, so we're just gonna render this right here. Otherwise, we want to do a for each right here, right? Index in, and inside we want to do, if the period is a week, then we're talking about 53. Otherwise, we're talking about 12. So this is the range, right? Up until 0. Cannot find, okay. Period.wake. Is this okay? No? Cannot convert value of type close range integer to expected range. Okay, yeah, it's a range, so that means up until 1, but because it's not a close range, 1 is not going to be included. It'll stop at 0. Cannot find operator in scope. Did you mean 3 dots? Are you kidding me? No way. No way. Swift range from integers. See? Half open. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe we want to do a half open. What does that mean, by the way? You create a range instance by using the half open range operator. You can use a range instance to quickly check if a value is contained within a particular range of values. Oh, okay. Non-constant range. Argument must be an integer literal. Well, yeah, it's either 53 or 12. And then we are looping. Oh, minus. I have no idea what this is, but it's not complaining, so we're just gonna render that many period charts and expense breakdowns. So we want to do the tab view style. We want to set it to page. Implements a paged, where is it? Implements a page scrolling tab view with an index display mode. Yeah, we want to do a page, and then we also want to have the selection right here, right? We have a selection, and this is really important. This selection is going to define the period index. Now, because the period index goes, oh man, we might want to flip this. Let's, no. We want to have another, like, tab view, I don't know, tab view selection. I am like literally too tired to think about namings, but there we go. Tab view selection, right? When that changes, tab view selection, when the tab view selection changes, right? New index, we want to do period index equals new index times -1. Yeah, we wanted to go the other way. And that's because right now we have the other way. So we should see some action now. See that at the bottom? Wow, look at that. Actually, wait a minute. No. It's crazy. No, this should be in a VStack. We don't actually want to treat them as separate tabs. Okay, expenses breakdown. I'm not sure. Now we have this. What is this now? Now we have all of these. Nice. That is not correct. That is totally not correct. Filter data, when does it change? Filter data should also change when the index changes. So maybe we should have done that as well. There we go, right? But why do we have like these two in those weeks? And now they're gone, now they're appearing again. Whoa, what is going on? So what is the new index? 3. 0, 1, 2, 3 because we swiped right. That's correct. So the period index, what is the period index? It's -3. Right? Then we want to filter based on that. Let's see. Let's actually do that again. So the new index is 4, the period index is -2, but we actually want... Period index. It claims that it's -2 now, but it's... No. It should be -4. Because the new index was -4. Period index changed. Right? Period index changed. What if I was passing this? Like, what if, yeah. What if we're passing this value right here, and instead of using it here, right, we want to do this. Oh, low battery. There we go. Right, then we get the period index. But what if we just call it index? Because we have a different period index up top. Right? Now let's see. Oh man. Period index. Wait. This is not true. Like, change it for later use, but also like push the new one here. Now the index is 0, that's correct. Right, so we should see date. No, come on. Why not? Like, why not? What is wrong now? It's 0. Okay. What is a period? It's a week. There we go. So week of the month and all those things, right? The components, the index, 0. Oh, wait a minute. No, it should be 0, right? It was always 0, so it worked actually. What is the target date? Right now, -2 hours. What is the interval? It is from 26th. Let's check the calendar again. 26 was Monday. Okay, this is correct. This is correct. We have the end date. That is like 3rd of October, midnight. Oh. No, it's actually okay. It's the 2nd, like 2nd of October, full day. Oh, we're good. Okay. Now we also get the range, right, from 26 until the 3rd, but not including the 3rd, right? And we try to figure out the expenses. Self.expenses. How is it? Let's actually see the realm manager. Maybe the realm manager still doesn't have the expenses figured out. No, it actually has. What is wrong with this thing? I'm gonna come here and here. You know, we don't want to go here. There we go. I want to also add a breakpoint here. Get inside, like range. Okay, expense.date. What is it? It has to be. Yeah. Right, so it adds them both. And now what is the expenses? Self.expenses. We have 0. Is this thing correct? Like, is this thing Updating. This cannot be it. No way. This cannot be it. What if we did like new expenses and then we push them here and then we did expenses equals new expenses? Is this like, what do you do? Yeah. Is this the thing? What? God damn it. Are you happy now? Sweet Jesus. Is this the actual fix for the thing? Like, don't tell me this is the fix. There we go. New expenses is 2. But what if we... Yeah. Self expenses. 0 values. You know what? I don't think we actually need to do this. Yeah. We just need to reload the expenses and just push these values. The idea is that this window right here, maybe it's that thing is not giving us, you know, the latest values. Maybe they're not the latest at that point. Maybe there's like, maybe it's like a react. Right? We're setting a state variable, but the value gets changed wherever the value gets changed, right? Maybe that's the case. But we should see 2 expenses right here, and we don't. So there's definitely something wrong. Definitely something wrong. Expenses changed. Expenses changed. That means the period chart should actually... Oh man. What are the expenses? Now tell me there are 2 values, 0 values. How can there be 0 values? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. 0 values. And that's it, you know, like that's 0 values. He doesn't even care. Not cool. Let's go back. There's the expenses, right? It's a state variable and we use them to pass them into the period chart right here. Oh man. Okay. Then we filter the data and then the expenses change and then the period chart should re-render, right? I believe that's the correct thing. Or maybe it's not. Like, let's actually bring back the stupid new expenses. Let's actually bring back this stupid fix. Right? Where we actually do... Come on. See, for example, you see that? Like, I created an array with let, and it doesn't let me append. Right? For example, in JavaScript, it won't let you assign to it, but you can append to it, right? But not in here. No. We have an issue with the updating. That is not cool. There we go. Right, and we want to change the expenses. Expenses. Value 0. New expenses. Value 2. Move on. Still 0. And they will remain 0. How do I change that? How do I change that? I don't know. Binding? Is that gonna work? Like, is that? No. And need to specify type binding of an expense. Irregular wrap value, expected project value. This is a different thing. As a state variable, it functions, and we can like say that, but it's never set. That's the thing. You know what? I'm gonna end the stream right now because I think I'm too tired to continue. Let's see. I'm gonna leave a note. Next Tuesday is the actual stream. We're gonna do a to-do. I'm sorry you're not seeing this. I'm just like writing in Notion. So for the next Tuesday, fix expenses. Was that the thing? Expenses state array not updating in reports.swift screen. There we go. For now, I'm just going to push whatever I have. What do we have? We have dynamic charts, right? And that's about it. Okay. It has come to an end. So, what did we do today? Yeah, we checked out the Realm DB. Turns out Realm is bought by Mongo, or maybe it's like created by Mongo. I never knew that. I knew I had like a little project in Realm DB, but yeah, turns out Mongo had. Oh, Andre was here all along. What's up, man? Yeah, so Realm DB turns out it's from Mongo. They either created it or they bought Realm DB later on. But yeah, it was cool to know. We started implementing dynamic charts, and that is major. They don't work, at least for now, but we'll try to fix it later on. What else? What else did we do? Yeah, basically checked out the Realm DB integration and started working on the reports. We can see that we have some data, but we need to fix the way that we add initial values. That is, yeah, I have no clue why the expenses, array was not updating. That is super weird. I mean, we have a state variable, we assign stuff to it, and there we go. We should see the new value, but we don't actually. We don't see the new value. So I'm gonna do some reading in the meantime until Tuesday. I'm gonna figure out how do the state variables behave in Swift, because I think that's the problem. We don't know how the state variables behave in Swift. We come here from React, marching in Swift and expecting Swift to work like React, but it doesn't, right? Swift doesn't work like React. And then we're exactly like I'll probably fix it in the 5 minutes because I'm pretty tired right now. But yeah, we need to do that. We need to figure out how the state variables behave and work. I'll do some research, I'll study it up, and in Tuesday, like next Tuesday, I'm gonna explain how state variables work, if there's anything new that I found out. I'm gonna try to fix the bug in the meantime and then explain what the fix was of the bug. Then we can continue with the actual charts, right? For example, we created the weekly chart, but we need to render a monthly chart. And that's gonna be cool because we're going to have a dynamic amount of columns, right, within that chart based on the days. Luckily, I mean, not luckily, yeah, we should. Oh, we're gonna have some calculations in there as well. But yeah, we'll figure it out. And also the year charts always has 12, so that would be pretty straightforward as well. Just the calculations will be bigger because we'll have a bigger data set, right? And that's about it. That's about it for now. Thank you all for watching and staying so late with me. I'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Cheers.